Hello and welcome to the Home Assistant Podcast. My name is Phil. Joining me as usual, I've got Rohan. How you doing, mate?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. And as usual, this podcast is sponsored by Home Assistant Cloud by Nabu Casa. For a small monthly fee, you'll unlock powerful features like secure, effortless access to your system from anywhere, your choice of voice assistants, offsite backups, and more, all configurable in the UI with no YAML needed. It also supports the development of Home Assistant, ESP Home, and other Open Home Foundation projects. Click the link in the description to learn more. We'd also like to give a shout out to our Patreon members, including our executive producers, Benny and Rob. For a small monthly fee, you can help support the show and get early access to episodes, all in an ad free feed. To support the show, check out homeassistant.fm and click Patreon in the menu. Now, Rohan, it is 2025.10. A little bit of an interesting release. I think it's sort of tightening up some things and some cool stuff for voice coming out. We've also got a whole bunch of feedback to get through, which we'll get through once we've got through the release.
Perfect.
But yeah, what's happening in 2025.10?
Oh man, there's actually decent amount of new features coming in. So starting off with the automation editor updates. So there's a bunch of updates that have happened to the automation editor UI, including the ability to resize the sidebar, copy and paste action items using your keyboard shortcuts, and undo and redo. So what's cool is like again, if let's say I want to copy and paste, like replicate. Maybe I want to say something, hey, do this on my phone, do the same thing on my wife's phone, something like that. And then maybe I want to modify one value or something like that, right? To change it up a little bit. I can just control C, control V, and like you just click on the one you want, copy, click on the one you want to put under it. Or sorry, and then click on your destination one where that will be technically above wherever you're pasting. Hit Control V, and then it'll just go underneath whatever you just selected there. So
Yeah, it's like that makes
that's
it
cool.
so much easier, right? Like it's
Yeah,
basically like when you're doing a Word document, right? Like copy paste this. I don't know
yeah,
if other people have used some other productivity tools. Like we use N8N to automate the podcast here. Like I can copy and paste nodes around. Maybe Zapier do the same thing. But yeah, like that's pretty fancy.
yeah.
I also saw that the overflow menu is now being moved back to that main screen. So in
Yeah,
2025.9, as part of the cleanup for the automation editor, they moved around a whole bunch of stuff to make for the sidebar. And one thing that I really didn't like was to test conditions to run individual actions, you had to open up the new side panel and then find the overflow menu there, which didn't make sense to me.
right.
So I'm glad that's back in the main
Yeah, so
section
it's all
there.
been cleaned up and nicely. And the nice thing is too, again, because you can resize the sidebar. Now, as you're doing things, it's just sometimes you're just like, hey, there's not enough space. It's visually, it's hard to focus on it, or it's hard to type out whatever. Just
Hmm.
understand, especially when it's like a template and there's like some code in there or whatever. It's like, okay, let's just drag it out, make it a little easier to see, and do that, right? So all in all,
Yeah.
good stuff coming there.
I know last release episode we spoke a lot about LLM vision and using AI to watch images. In this release, there is a new AI image generation service. So what people are doing at the moment, like I'm doing, is getting a snapshot from a camera feed and then handing it over to an LLM and asking what's going on. People are counting chickens. I'm checking if my driveway gate is open or closed. Now, Home Assistant has the ability to have AI generate an image based on what it sees. Now, um, I would love you to email me feedback at homeassistant.fm for use cases that you have for this because I'm not completely sure. But some of the examples given to us during the creators' calls was if you've got a doorbell and someone presses the doorbell, you'll get a snapshot of that camera feed. And then you can take it over to an LLM. Not only can the LLM then say what's going on, you can get the LLM to generate an image based on that image. So you might say, convert all the people in the image to a cartoon, or like make the road into Lego bricks or something, um,
Yeah.
and then send that as a notification to me. I would love to know if there is a non-trivial use case for something like this. Like I can see things like Halloween, especially being big in America, people ring the doorbell and a picture comes up on this TV or something, of a spooky version of whoever rang the doorbell. I can see that, yeah, for sure. But I would like, is there a serious use for something like this? I would love to know. I don't have one off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
It's well, I made the joke on the creators call when we were talking about it, and where it's just like, could you imagine like something happens and the police is like, hey, can we get some video footage off of there or whatever, or like a screenshot or whatever, and it comes back with like just like I don't know, like an anime version of what happened or something like that, right? And it's
Yeah,
which I think it's like, okay, this won't pass in court, right? It's like I don't know, I just think that'll be funny.
get a XKBCD article, like the cartoon
That's right.
cutouts of
Yeah,
who's rung
give
the
me a
doorbell or
stickman
something, right?
version of this, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah. Um, Also, so dashboards can now suggest entities. Okay, so this is a cool one. So when you have a dashboard now, there's essentially a special type of column, whatever you want to call it, section in there, where you can have suggested entities, which are based on entities you've interacted with over the past 24 hours. So nice thing is it's not going to take a huge performance hit. They just check the database once a day of, hey, what was the most used ones, what was the most used entities and things like that, and basically it's like a frequently used section there in your dashboard. um, I think that's just pretty cool. I actually personally I'm of two camps, right? I totally see why that's very useful. It's like, hey, I always do this thing. It's like it's right here, just click it, right? It's right top, center, front, whatever. Um, but I also really like my dashboard static, if that makes any sense, just because I know where everything is, and I'm not sitting there being like, "Oh, where is the?" And that was my biggest gripe around the original. I mean, when home assistant first started, it's like, okay, there was like zero predictability on how stuff lands.
Yeah, it was just
Uh,
everywhere, right?
and yeah, and then what was that called? Tiles? No. What was the original
Um,
UI called? I don't even
States,
remember.
the States layout, I think it
States
was.
UI.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lovelace made that a little better, and it just kept getting better and better over time in terms of predictability, right? Because otherwise, it's like, hey, you add this new device, and now all of a sudden everything has gone everywhere else, and you hoped it's in the same place it was before, unless you're
Mm.
doing like vertical stack, horizontal. Like it's just, it shouldn't be that complicated, right? So all in all, to say that I think feature wise, I think is a really cool feature, and I think there's a lot of people that would love it. I just don't wouldn't use that. That's just not my how I use uh, my dashboards. I don't know, Phil. What are your thoughts about it?
Uh, I I'd like to see a few iterations of this. I think at the moment it's just very much based on the past 24 hours. What entities you've mainly used or the most in that past 24 hours. I would like it to get to a point where it knows like what entities I use in my morning routine, what entities I'm using at the night routine. So, for example, in the morning, I'm maybe closing the garage once I've got my bike out, and then on the way to work. In the evening, I'm setting up the kids' lights, making them red, putting them into night mode, putting on music, right? I would love, that ability to know context of, day and night or, during the day. Um, I don't mind that they move around as long as I guess if they are a consistent size, if that makes sense. Like if I can have them all in a same size so that it doesn't move other things around, as long as it's that row that's moving around dynamically, everything else, as long as that's in a static position, I'm not too fussed about. Um,
True.
yeah. But
Yeah,
then again, I
it's
don't
in
have
that one
tablets.
section. It's
Yeah. I don't
true.
have tablets set up. I don't have I don't have a wall panel. In a wall panel situation, I think it needs to be a consistent size for me. Um, but equally, you don't want to go up to a wall panel and be like, oh, where's the light switch gone? Um, you know, it's it really depends on each house. I think there are some really good use cases though, as I said, like the day and night routine stuff.
Yeah, I those kind of things I think are typically it's like, okay, whatever you use. And the nice thing is it's I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe it's per user. So it's like this is
Oh,
what Phil
interesting.
does it. This is
Yeah,
what Phil
okay.
uses the most and things like that. So if that's the case, it might be what's the most used on this tablet, assuming you have
Yep,
different users for different tablets, right?
yep.
Um, I yeah, and again, it's I get it because to your point, Phil, it can be in that same spot every time. So I know, okay, if I'm looking for something, just go and it's still in the same place. I know where those things are, and that I like. It's just again the dynamicity, the how dynamic that is for my use wouldn't just the way and it's totally a me thing. But I do think the feature is useful because I think there are a lot of people out there that will use that.
And I believe it's a service call now too, so I don't know if it has a return value support, but there could be potential to do some even more fancy stuff in the future, right? Like if you can make a service call, what are the most used entities in the last 24 hours? Um, maybe you'll be able to then power some automations based on that in the future.
Yeah, yeah, it is. There's a lot of cool stuff that can come from this, and again, I think it's just a matter of saying, okay, well, how far is Home Assistant going to take it? Right? They may take it pretty far and do some cool stuff, or they may not, uh, and leave it at that. So, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
The probably the biggest thing coming in 2025.10 is actually for voice assistants, I think. And I might take us on a little bit of a tangent here as well, outside of Home Assistant land. But for Home Assistant in particular, so voice has now gone bilingual. You can now define two different wake words, and they can have two different assistants in the home. So if you are bilingual in your house, you can have Hey Jarvis, perhaps for English, and OK Nabu for Spanish or Dutch, whatever that other language is. Um, the cool thing about this, though, is that if you're not bilingual and if you only have one language, you can still do the two different wake words. So you may have Hey Jarvis and that would speak to a Jarvis inspired LLM assistant, right? And then you could have OK Nabu, which has a more straightforward assistant uh, prompt that you've defined. So I do like. I'm not bilingual in our house, so I do like the ability to switch up who I'm talking to. Maybe the you want a funny one, you can hey Jarvis, give, and that one can be responds in a pirate voice or something, right? Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I do know, speaking of voice and voice adjacent, Google Home have been doing a lot of work. I think Google Home, I've been reading in the news, like they've been having some whole world of pain with their app, but they're coming out with a new home dashboard, I believe, and a whole upgrade to Google Home. Amazon, by the time this episode is releasing, will
Yeah.
will have announced new Amazon Echo devices, and I believe
Yes.
I suspect Alexa Plus will also be as part of that. Starting to roll out generally. I think it's becoming available to more and more people in the states, at least at the moment, which is the AI enhanced version of that little lady. Um,
Yep.
Rohan, what are your thoughts on those? I think it's starting to heat up a little bit in the space. Is this like a sort of a last ditch effort from Google and Amazon to save their voice assistants? I don't know. I think it's been a bit of a
I,
downward
I
spiral for them
don't
at the moment.
know. I I don't know. I feel like I'm just so jaded by both Google and Amazon. More so Amazon because that's what I use at home primarily. And I don't know. It's again. I'm not going to pay anything more for this. Like the last thing I want is another subscription, right? So when it comes to like I don't know Echo Plus or whatever or Name Plus, right? Uh, but new generation of hardware, I'm just like unless it really offers something significant, I don't care. Um, and realistically, the Amazon Echoes are all I'm doing is I'm using it to trigger stuff for Home Assistant and play music, right? And the music thing is a big part of the reason why I still have it is just again, I think we've talked about this on the show before. The voice PE. is fantastic. It just speaker wise, it's not there, and it's not meant to be, right? It's meant to be a it's prototype kind of again preview edition, right? It's in the name. Um, so that's why I still have the Amazon Echoes at home, right? Because and I've invested enough into them that unless I can get a solid like for like replacement with something that's based off the voice PE, I'm pretty much good, stuck to these ones. And my one tablet that I do have in the kitchen is a Pixel with that has Google, but I don't actually use the voice in there at all, right? So
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm seeing like the use case of voice assistants going down, at least in our house. We barely, ask the little lady in the Amazon Echo now to turn off and on devices. We use it for timers, absolutely, and to play music. But I think the listening capability of those devices, like you say, you ask her to do something and she doesn't get it anymore. Like the quality of speech recognition has certainly gone down over the years, I would say.
yeah.
Um, I am reluctant to buy into the Amazon ecosystem again, even with the new
Mhm.
generation. Just because I'm excited for Home Assistant. Surprise, surprise, being on the Home Assistant podcast, right?
Yeah,
Um, but that hardware's not there yet. I would love to take control of those voice assistants locally and not be in an ecosystem. Like,
absolutely.
here's an example, right? Like, we went on holidays recently and we activated a YouTube premium subscription for the month,
Yeah.
and um, I was like, cool, I will use YouTube Music instead of Spotify um, for whatever
Not
reason.
on Amazon, you won't.
Nope, cannot do that on Amazon. All right.
Yeah.
Um, I can control the Sonos speakers through Amazon. That's fine, but I can't control YouTube Music, which is also supported on Sonos from the Amazon. It's
Yeah.
just stuff like that that annoys me.
Yeah.
Right.
And even in Music Assistant, there's the Echo support is pretty limited in there too, right?
Mm,
And it's and that's not a knock against Music Assistant. That's a knock against the Amazon,
yeah.
right? It's a lack of their openness that is causing that. I don't know. Yeah, it's I am I excited for the launch? No. Am I going to watch it? Nah, I'll probably check out like The Verge or something like that after just to
Yeah.
give me a
Get the
summary of it.
TLDR.
And yeah, and I don't I don't know. It's not. I'm exactly where you are, Phil. It's I'd rather wait on a really cool version of a Home Assistant one to come out,
It
and
doesn't
do
even have
that.
to be Home Assistant. Like Home Assistant have open sourced
No,
the
yeah,
hardware and the specs and said to other people like, go and create it. Like if
yeah,
someone else was out there, like another creator in the Home Assistant community or another company like Shelly, right? If Shelly made an awesome, I'm just picking Shelly as a random company. It could be Tuya
yeah,
or whatever. Like if they made an awesome Home Assistant compatible voice product that had decent speaker and great echo cancellation and ability to hear my voice properly,
yeah,
I'd be all for it, right? Because then I know I'm getting a home assistant supported product. Well, it's
yeah,
going to have home assistant compatibility, and I'm not going to be potentially locked into all these vendors, blocking me from listening to YouTube Music from my Amazon device, right? And
exactly.
vice versa from Google Home side. Um, and don't I know I'm an Android person, so I have no Apple HomeKit. I'm not an Apple HomeKit phone,
Right.
but from what I see, Siri and the Apple Intelligence isn't anywhere. Probably isn't worth mentioning talking
No,
at this
no,
stage.
no, it's
So
not. And again, it's if I'm channeling everything through Home Assistant, I don't need the voice system to have any intelligence in it, right? I mean, look at the voice PE. It's really it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff that's gone into it, but the intelligence itself doesn't sit on there. There's a couple of cool things, right? Like the wake words on there and stuff like that. However, like when I'm like, hey, what's how big is the Eiffel Tower? It's not the one telling me that. It's going and hitting up Home Assistant, which is then going to hit up some LLM,
which is the same with, the other voice assistant, like, this is no different to the Amazon Echo or
That's no
Google Home.
different. So it's not again, all you need is a good speaker and a
Yep.
good mic on top of that, right? And that's it. And then the rest of it is just transmitting the request, right? Can you understand what I'm saying? That local wake word is nice because then it's not constantly listening, right? And just picks up when you need it, and then off it goes.
So, yeah, that was my little tangent. Also in, back on Home Assistant, there is another voice, feature that's coming out. So, it's reducing the feedback. So when you give a command to, a Home Assistant voice assistant, it will just respond with, "Okay, I've turned on the lights," or "Yes, I've set the brightness to this percent." Now, that's great. I appreciate that feedback, but sometimes it's not necessary. So, the way that this is working now, and I think in the Amazon world, in the early days, like you could have like brief replies, right, where the Amazon Echo would just respond with a ding as opposed to
Yep.
the little
Yep.
lady
It's like a
giving you the
beep
whole
or
thing.
something, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Similar thing happening here now on the voice assistants for Home Assistant, except that it's a bit more context aware. So, for example, if you're in the office and the area that you have defined the voice PE in or the voice assistant in is in the same area you are, and you're controlling the same device in the same area, for example, if I'm turning on the office lights and I'm in the office and the voice PA is in the office, then rather than saying, "Okay, I've turned on the lights," the voice PA will now respond with just a notification bell, essentially, because you can see that the lights have turned on. So there is still the acknowledgement that the voice PA has finished processing a request and has done something. You should then know, has it done it correctly, because you're actually in the room and you can see the lights turning off or on. So I actually think that's pretty smart. And yeah, I'm a fan of that.
There's a couple of caveats there, right? One is if the command failed, so I say turn on the lights, and for whatever reason something happened, I couldn't turn on the lights, it will vocally tell you it didn't work, right? It'll say, hey, I wasn't able to, or failed, whatever that is. The other one is if there's an LLM tied to it, I think it won't do that because there's no way of you saying, like you to use my previous example, like turn off the office light and how big is the Eiffel Tower, right?
Mm,
So it doesn't know when there's a continuation or when there's something else, at least at this point, right? So I think that's some of the reasons for that, uh, why it's built that way.
interesting.
So there's a new media player more info panel. So you have your media player in Home Assistant, and then within there, there's a more info dialog. That's been revamped a little bit to provide a cleaner interface, a little nicer, album art and all that stuff, kind of front and foremost, right? So, yeah, it's nice. It's clean.
I will
I like it.
say, out of all the things we've discussed so far, this is my favorite update in the release.
Really?
Like, yeah, I've always struggled with that more info panel on a like now it just looks like a Spotify now playing card, like with the pause
Yeah,
buttons and the artwork.
it's
It
nice. It
just
is actually. Yes, I agree.
yeah, it's actually useful now.
It's very
Particularly
clean
like
too.
yeah, and when you're using like a wall tablet, if you were to tap media player entity, the existing, more info dialog would come up and have the history and the playing, it's not playing, and the tiny pause play buttons. That's not what you're expecting, right? Particularly, when we've all got phones that have media players on them. This just, yeah, makes it feel, yeah, it's more logical to me to have it designed this way. And I know it's hidden away in a more info panel, but I think that, yeah, it's just one of those nice improvements, I think that, yeah, that's why it makes it my favorite.
It doesn't have to be front and center for it to be nice, right? I
Yeah.
think it's okay even if it's off to the little panel or whatever, and that can still be nice. It doesn't have to be you know unusable or hard to use or ugly, right? So
All right. Matter has got some new device classes, or I'm not sure what the Matter terminology is there, but it now has support for occupancy sensing hold time, climate running state for heat and cool fans, vacuum area service actions, and thermostat outdoor temperature sensors. So great to see Matter still moving forward.
yeah, um, this isn't. really a new feature or anything like that, but the logbook has been renamed to activity. So
Yeah, I don't mind that one. Uh,
no,
yeah, it makes sense. Like Logbook was very, a technology person would understand what a log is, but
yeah,
yeah, and I always would get confused. Like, what's between the history and the logbook, right? Like, where do I need to go to see
yeah,
what I want to do? Right, this makes it much more clear where I need to go.
yeah, agreed.
Philips Hue. So they have expanded the support for motion aware sensors on the new Hue Bridge Pro. So this is cool, and if you're on our Patreon, you already have access to the episode we've got with Josh, who is using motion-aware sensors in his home. He's got like downlights all over his house. So I'm sure Josh will be interested in seeing those sensors now available in Home Assistant, which is I'm actually pretty impressed with Philips Hue for this one. So, for those that aren't aware, uh, Philips Hue's motion aware system basically uses all existing Philips Hue light bulbs and can then work out based on frequencies and how you're moving about in a room if a room is occupied or not. And currently, that's exposed. You require the Hue Bridge Pro for whatever reason. I assume it's an upsell reason, but the once you've got the Hue Bridge Pro in there, you can actually see, okay, this room is occupied. And in that bridge, in the Hue app, you could then say, okay, when the room's occupied, turn on the lights. Now, Home Assistant can see when a room is occupied. So that saves the need for battery powered presence sensors. You don't need wave sensors anymore. I would like to see how it compares to like a millimeter wave sensor. How good is it at detecting someone sitting still on a couch in a bathroom? Um, yeah, I'd love to hear some feedback for anyone using those. But yeah, I do like the all of a sudden existing Zigbee Philips Hue light bulbs have this capability.
Yeah, that is. It doesn't. It requires a replacement of the hub, but not all of your stuff, right? So, which is very neat. LG. So LG added added support to the LG Think integration to now provide energy usage sensors for better energy monitoring for your devices. There you go. I like that.
Um, I love that. So this is kudos to LG for doing that. Also, kudos
Yeah.
to the creator of the LG custom component. In hacks, I know I've got an LG air conditioner, and I've had energy sensors from the custom component for a lot longer than since LG have added this to the official add-on in Home Assistant now. So,
Right.
um, I appreciate LG keeping up with the Home Assistant add-on and adding to it. So that's great.
Yeah.
Little Robot got several enhancements. I'm sure Thomas from our previous episode might be interested in some more cat automations. You can now see last feeding sensors, food dispensed, how much, so you can track it for today. When their next feeding will go off, there's a gravity mode switch. I would like to know what if you can turn off and on gravity for a kitty litter. That's cool. And they've got some light settings as well for the Little Robot 4. So yeah, if you've got a cat
Considering
and
what a litter box is used for, I don't know if you want to turn off the gravity in those. So
exactly right. I don't know what gravity mode switch does. I'm
it's not going to
intrigued.
end well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. AccuWeather now provides hourly forecasts, giving you a little more detailed weather predictions. And who doesn't want that?
Reolink just keeps getting new features, which thank you, Reolink. Yeah. You can now select the encoding version for videos, I believe. If you've got the Home Hub, there is now support for their siren. There's color temperature support, and yeah, the color temperature support for any light entities that do have that. And Rohan, I'm just going to give you an appreciation for adding the U to color under me.
Yeah. For those, obviously you can't see our show notes as we're reading through them, but yeah, I noticed that it didn't have a U, and I just live edited that. So
Thank
you're
you.
welcome for the rest of the world. Uh, sorry, US. All right, Lutron Caseta now supports multi-tap actions for more advanced button control. I actually completely missed this one, so that is awesome, and I'm very excited to try this.
So, because this is for your light switches, right? Like you have Lutron cassette at home.
Yeah, I have Caseta. I have Caseta all over. I've got a bunch of them.
Do you have like now? Just you've got multi-tap action support now in Home Assistant. Do you have any top of the mind like automation ideas that you want to do with that?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, please share
It's
them with the
well,
world. We're on a podcast.
not
What about you?
not really a lot. I'm just gonna leave it at that. No, it's so first and foremost, this is actually something I wish I could have done, right? Like, so when I leave a room, like again, like whether it's my office as an example, right? So you notice my background lights aren't working today, but that's it's a Bluetooth issue, which is always fun. But assuming that was, and obviously we're doing this podcast, I've got my key lights on and so on, which are all on smart switches. So I just want, regular one button off that just turns off my room light, or multi tap or double tap and turns off the whole room, right? So that would be nice. My son's bedroom is pretty much just adjacent to my room. So same thing, even with his room, he's got a lamp in there, and then he's got a bedroom, the the light in there.
Yep.
So same thing, single tap, double tap for everything. I just think
Nice.
that's just handy, right? So that right off the bat, that's one thing, and then the other ones would be like, I don't know, potentially even for scene control, right? So if I, like, my kitchen and my living room are kind of like one room, but it's separate. It's like basically forms an L, right, between my kitchen, my little food area, the eating area, um, and the living room forms an L. So I have a TV time automation that basically turns those down, leaves the living room light lamp on, sorry, and that kind of stuff. So again, same thing, double tap to activate that scene. Just doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, like I'm kind of excited for this. I didn't even know this is possible. So I actually didn't know I could do it in Lutron, period. So that's
There you go.
even better.
I was thinking maybe I don't know how many taps it supports. Right, maybe you could do like a triple tap, send the robot vacuum out to clean this room or something. One by the front
Oh,
door,
that's a
triple
really
tap,
cool
shut
idea.
down the whole house. I'm leaving, so put the house into away mode. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
I like, man, I didn't think of the vacuum one. That's a cool one.
Yeah, that's
It's a cool one until you realize I have a toddler at home that loves pressing buttons.
oh,
And
absolutely. Do you know
luckily
how
he
many
can't
like
reach,
times
but it's
my toddler will grab the chair and then just
yeah,
start flicking the buttons. And I've got like smart dimmers in there, right? So if you flick it fast enough, they will go back into pairing mode and like go into
right.
factory reset, right? So yeah, I feel you.
Mine loves to sneak, like when I'm holding him, and if he's facing, backwards or whatever, he'll like, and he's like a ninja, right? He'll just, or like a little, like a cat, and he'll just be like, "Bibbit,"
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
"Why are the lights off here all of a sudden?" Right?
Or,
So
or you
it's
say no, and they just looks back and got that cheeky grin, like I'm going to do it
yeah,
anyway. Like
I
yeah.
just, yeah, it's but yeah, that's exciting.
All right. So another company that's received some updates initially is Shelly. So they've got some massive updates coming. So there's now for the US Gen 4 plug, there's now illuminance sensors. There's some more presence component entities being added, virtual button support, object based entities. There's some presence zone support. And there's even a sensor if a cable has become unplugged from the Flood Gen 4. So great if you've got those products and you're on Shelly. There's some new features there.
Yeah, Shelly's cool. SwitchBot expanded device support with the Plug Mini EU, Relay Switch 2 PM, and K11 Plus vacuum. So there you go. More stuff coming in.
If you're using SwitchBot Cloud, there's some similar updates and other random SwitchBot uh,
Yeah,
devices there too. So look
they're,
out for that one.
they're an interesting company. I really like SwitchBot, but at the same time, sometimes I'm like, what?
Yeah, why,
Like,
why do you have that? Yeah,
yeah, we
like
had
that
like
robot
their robot,
butler that would like give you your drink, but like
but you have to put the drink on it to
yeah,
give
yeah,
you the
yeah,
drink over there. So it's like, I don't know. It's cool. I like the concept. I like where they're going with it. I just sometimes I'm like, is this a solution looking for a problem, or a problem looking for a solution? Right. So it's,
yeah.
I don't know.
Tasmoda and Tuya. So Tasmoda's got
Mhm.
support for functionality, and Tuya, there are a lot of updates. But I know Tuya is a popular platform. It's got a lot of white level stuff. So if you are on the Tuya platform, you have the Tuya integration in Home Assistant. Just check out the release notes. There's a whole bunch
Yeah,
going on
there's a
there.
lot. Last but not least, Workday. So Workday, the Workday integration has a calendar integration now, so you can just use it from the calendar part of the sidebar.
Very nice.
Yeah,
All right. If you're looking to upgrade your smart home, you can't go past Zeus. Zeus have just released their brand new Z Wave long range siren and chime, the ZSE 5800LR, which you might remember Agnes. She came on a few episodes ago and she was teasing it. You can trigger audio and visual LED alarms based on smart sensors or other conditions, and the audio speaker plays your own files for personalized automation. And there's also a handy selection of preloaded audio libraries. Zeus offer an official Works with Home Assistant partner, and they've been helping Nabucasa by providing long range devices for testing the new Home Assistant Connect ZWA2 radio. Zeus offer a range of affordable and innovative devices, including water leak sensors, water valve controllers, smart plugs, and scene controllers. Their Zen 34 remote switch has been Z Wave certified, bringing flexible scene control to your smart home. Seamless wall mounting and battery powered, the Zen 34 offers intuitive control without any rewiring. For the best prices on all Zeus products, head over to thesmartesthouse.com. That's thesmartesthouse.com.
yeah. One thing to add though on that is the cool thing is, I mean, you mentioned it's they gave some devices to Home Assistant to test and stuff, and listeners might be wondering, well, why do I care about that? That means their products have actually been qualified by Home Assistant, albeit unofficially, but I mean, it's officially because they are a Works with Home Assistant partner, but it's uh it's also been directly qualified to qualify their hardware. So if you have the Z-Wave radio from Home Assistant, you know it's going to work. So um all right, let's talk some new integrations. I don't know if it's Compit or Compi, maybe if it's French, but that integration
Mm.
allows you to integrate air conditioning, ventilation, and heating controllers within Home Assistant there.
Droplet, who, if you believe the spiel from there, is leveraging cutting edge ultrasonic sensing technology, Droplet will accurately monitor your water valves and give you like a flow rate of how much water you're consuming around the house. I actually wouldn't mind experimenting with this. My water valve is out in the garden, in the front yard in Australia. Like, yeah, I don't know how yours works, Rohan, but ours is out literally buried in the garden somewhere. It's smart. I think it has a radio like similar to our power Zigbee radio. I can't access it though. I can access our power, our electricity Zigbee radio, but I can't access the smart
Hmm.
water meter for whatever reason. So yeah, I would love something like Droplet on the main
Yeah.
water line out there in the garden, and just ping me how much water we're consuming. Because yeah, I would love to know when we've got a leak or something. That would be good to know.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of folks that I don't know if they've released the content around it yet, but they were testing it. I haven't followed up to see if they liked it or not, but it sounds pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, all right, moving on. eKey Bionics. If you use their biometric access control system to monitor door access and security events, now you can do that in Home Assistant. So,
Nice.
boom.
IRM KMI, you can now get accurate weather data from Belgium's Royal Meteorological Institute. Yeah, you can get precise local forecasting. I'd be interested to see if this is going to be similar to like the Met.no, Met.no, where you can like also get weather for outside of Belgium. Yeah, I'd have to experiment with
Yeah.
that. Not that I
I would
need it,
assume
but
it's probably more accurate within Belgium and they might
of
use other
course,
sources externally, whatever. But yeah.
yeah.
Libra hardware monitor. So you can now monitor your computer's hardware sensors, including CPU temperature, GPU usage, fan speeds, and system performance metrics.
Okay. Portainer is now available in Home Assistant. So if you are using Docker and you've got a whole bunch of containers, and you can then hook them up to port, you can run another Portainer container, which will allow you to then monitor those. Then that can then be fed into Home Assistant.
Yep. This one I like. It just gives you more options, but SFTP is now supported. If you want to do any remote backup if you have a remote backup location and you wanted to use SFTP to transfer your Home Assistant backups and data storage. So nice thing is it's encrypted. SFTP is
Mm.
over SSH. So there you go.
Yeah, that's nice actually. It sort of opens up a lot more boxes where you can
Yeah.
dump your backups now, right? Because generally SSH is available on most Linux distros.
Yep.
So yeah, if you've got a random server, maybe you've got a VPS somewhere, or you've got an Amazon EC2 instance that you just want to,
It'll just work.
yep, feed it up there and go.
Yeah. You got a random
Victron,
Raspberry Pi lying around or something like that. Just you don't need to set up a server on it and doesn't just
hmm,
here you go, point it out. Go. It'll work.
Victron remote monitoring is now available, so that integration will pull in statistics for solar production, consumption of electricity, all from Victron Energy's VRM portal. So I like that.
There you go. All right. I think that's it for 2025-10, but we do have some feedback from previous episodes. So let's talk about those.
Yeah,
Uh, on email, Joe emailed us saying, one of you mentioned having a NAS on a smart plug. That's you, Phil. And getting
guilty.
it turned off on accident. And of course, everyone was horrified at that. I actually do this. I have a fridge and freezer and smart plugs as well. Learned my lesson a year ago. Near miss with an old Wemo plug turning off the freezer, but happened to catch it before things got out of hand. Anyway, now I use the Sonos S31s with Tasmota. And Tasmota, you can disable not only the button on the plug, but also the ability to turn the plug off via the web or MQTT,
Mm.
essentially putting them into a monitoring only mode so they don't turn off, but you can see the energy usage, which is nice. Uh, it worked perfectly, although now that I write this, I think I'm going to add some alerting to make sure none of my critical plugs go offline or report an off status, just in case. So that's actually
Yeah,
pretty neat.
I think that's important, and I actually do have an update to my story. So
Ooh.
I not related to the NAS this time on the refrigerator. So I also I put a smart plug on the fridge so I could see the power draw on it. I repurposed a another switch from another device that I had. I can't remember
Mhm.
what
Yep.
device it was now. So I renamed that in Home Assistant. That was fine. It was a Z-Wave smart plug. Um,
Sure.
and that's on there. I can see it's fridge energy consumption. Perfect. Anyway, when I was going in, I needed to repair one of my Z-Wave door window sensors, which is whatever reason it was connected, but it wasn't giving updates to Home Assistant. So I unpaired it and repaired it. And while I was in the Z-Wave JS UI, I was like, oh, I was looking at all the smart plugs. I'm like, oh, what's that smart plug? Like, I don't have that anymore. It was like a hallway cupboard thing. I'm like, I don't have, no, that shouldn't be there. That's not there. I moved that to a different smart plug like ages ago, but it says it's
Yeah.
alive and reporting data. So I was like, whatever, I'll turn it off and I'll see what it was. Anyway, I did no lights turned off, no monitors,
No.
turned off. I'm like, okay, that's strange. The NAS was still online. Okay, the NAS wasn't the NAS that I've moved it to. And then I was thinking, like, oh, crap. I've just turned off the fridge. And sure enough, I ran out to the
Yeah.
fridge and power to the fridge was cut. Luckily, I got it within 20 minutes, so no spoilage of freezer
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
or
It's
anything.
fine.
But yes, pro tip: if you are renaming devices in Home Assistant and they are a Z-Wave device, make sure you go into the Z-Wave JS UI and update the names and locations there too, so that you don't forget where everything is.
Yeah. That could hurt.
And I've also now added automation that if that smart switch goes offline or switches off, I get an alert about it.
Alert.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a really cool use case though, saying, hey, you can make them monitoring only plugs, even if you want to essentially make like a they call them kilowatts, right? Like the kill watt, whatever the monitors to monitor
All
your
right.
usage.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what a lot of people on YouTube and stuff use. Just say, hey, look at the how much power it's drawing, whatever. You can basically make one of those with while disabling the button. I didn't know that was possible. That's pretty cool. So I learned something new too there, Joe. Thank you.
Rob on Twitter reached out. Is like is appreciating Home Assistant getting into hardware. I love seeing the local first movement expand. Same philosophy we're applying to AI. Own your stack, own your data. I think that's true. Home Assistant is very much a self-hosted, very much in the self-hosted community, right? I think we're all better for
Yeah,
it. And the more we can keep hosted locally and in our own control, the better. So
yeah,
absolutely agree.
agreed.
Yeah,
Dave on Twitter said, "Oh, sorry."
go for it.
Dave on Twitter said, "Hey Phil, you mentioned you use a WhatsApp group for HA notifications on today's HA podcast. Is that a custom integration from Hacks? Another great episode, by the way. Thank you.
Dave, yes, that is a custom integration on Hacks. It's called the Green API Notifier. I'll leave a link in our show notes today. But essentially, the way it works is Green API is this sort of third-party service that has access to the WhatsApp API. Now, how official this is, I don't know, and I would urge some caution. So, what I did here was I got a free SIM card, or an eSIM from America. I added that to my phone, and on an Android device, I think it's just coming to iPhone now, but at least on Android, you can actually link another WhatsApp account to your WhatsApp on your phone. So I've got my primary Australian SIM card and this new American eSIM. It needs to be able to receive text, so you can't use just a data-only SIM card. WhatsApp does send an SMS to validate the new phone number. So yeah, once I received my new phone number from the US, I then registered a new WhatsApp account under that phone number. And the reason I wanted to do this was because the Green API, to use the Green API, you have to link your WhatsApp account to the Green API
Right.
service. Now, WhatsApp uses end-to-end encryption for all conversations, but that goes out the window when you're linking a device. So, by linking my primary WhatsApp account to this Green API, they would be able to get unencrypted access to all my messages. Um, any, to my
Right.
wife, my family, which, considering this um, company is probably using unofficial WhatsApp integrations that could go away at any minute. I was a bit hesitant to give them full access. So yeah, I really wanted a separate WhatsApp account. So yeah, I created the Green API. The free plan gives you access to 3 chats. So I have a app conversation directly with myself, and I've also added the WhatsApp number to a WhatsApp group between my wife and I. And if I need to, I've then got a spare one, which can message my wife directly. So, yeah, the idea being that my wife, myself, and Home Assistant are in a WhatsApp group together, and Home Assistant can then send a message through the Green API to that WhatsApp group. And the Green API can only access the conversation, the shared group conversation, and any direct messages with itself. It can't go in and grab messages between me and my wife, for example, on our private chat.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Seems like it's a bit convoluted, I know, but I do like for me, I want to remove as much friction points to getting notifications as possible. So, for example, if there's a security alert, I don't want it just to be another Home Assistant notification, particularly for my wife, who's probably going to ignore it. It's Home Assistant. It's probably just that's Phil's domain, right? Also, don't want her to have to install Telegram. Telegram's easy to integrate, but she doesn't have Telegram, right? So I don't want to have to
Yeah,
get her to install another app just to get notifications, which she's going to ignore. I tried Facebook Messenger for a bit, but again, if it's we're not primarily on Facebook Messenger, we use WhatsApp all the time. So if it's a WhatsApp message, that will get more priority from her perspective.
that's perfect. All right, another one for you. Sebastian says, uh, listening to your use of WhatsApp for camera notifications, are you aware that the HA app has critical level alerts in iOS and Android, which can override D&D? You can also
Mm.
send alarm level TTS on Android. And also, Frigate offers GIF previews in the notifications on Android.
So I actually did not know this. So Sebastian, thank you for pointing this out. I always assumed that I know like you can get around iOS D&D alert levels. I didn't realize you could do that also on Android. So that I will have to go in and have a look at that. And one of the things like using LLM Vision in the iOS notifications for LLM Vision, they do support live previews for iOS devices, but not on Android. So yeah, GIF previews on Android would be cool. I do have Frigate running. I don't. I set it up on like one camera as a test, but I'm not on very powerful hardware, so maybe I need to go down the Frigate wormhole a bit and see where I land. But yeah, thanks, Sebastian. I will have something to research now.
There you go.
On Blue Sky, Julian has reached out and said, for cars, there is a good integration for Skoda vehicles called My Skoda, which exposes lots of entities. So I think in the 2025 9 episode, I put a shout out asking people, if you've integrated your car, what brands are you using? I know Tesla's out there with the Tesla API. There's a few other
Yeah.
manufacturers. Yeah, cool to see Skoda have My Skoda. I did check it out, Julian, based on that recommendation. Unfortunately, My Skoda is not available in Australia because we're Australia, we're a smaller market. So yeah, cool that
Do
it's
you guys
available
even have
elsewhere though.
Skodas out there?
We do.
We don't.
I think
So
yeah. So I think Skoda they recently relaunched in Australia maybe 5-10 years ago. They were gone for a while, but they've recently come back. So they're
interesting.
not
I
not a big
I
player
don't
at the
think
moment.
we've ever. Maybe it was there a while ago, but I don't ever recall seeing Skoda in Canada. And even like having been to the US enough times, I don't recall seeing any. I'm not saying that they're not there, but I don't actually know if they operate in North America. Interesting. Um, all right, YouTube comments. Jeffrey, in response to Thomas's cat automation from a previous episode, there says, "Don't forget the little robot cat box. When ours is used, HA triggers the RoboVac to run." So that's cool.
Yeah,
Cute
that's
use
good. So I'm
case, right?
guessing cats could be messy little things, right? So yeah, come out with their
Yeah.
paws and spill kitty litter all over the place. Once it's been used, send the robot out to scoop that up. That's cool.
Yeah.
ANPC 86 on YouTube says, for the deluge of Home Assistant notifications, which might be good for what I was just mentioning previously, Android is nice because I can give the notifications its own icon. So I can see a doorbell icon for a doorbell alert or a garage icon notification for a garage alert, which is true. I do use
Mhm.
I use groupings a lot. Haven't used the icons, but maybe I need to do that now too. Yeah, grouping is fantastic on Android. I think I'd like LLM Vision to allow multiple timelines. I have one for security and one for gardening. So take a photo of our flowers, our lawn, send it to AI, review the state, consider the weather, and recommend action. And there's probably a way to hack it. So this, I'm actually really, I do agree. I would love multiple timelines. So LLM Vision has a great concept called timeline. So you can have, and it's got a nice Lovelace card, and it is what it sounds like, right? So a timeline of events that have happened. So you can see a person was at the front door, person carrying a package was at the front door.
Yeah.
You can also add custom events to that timeline. So, for example, every time my alarm control panel from Alarmo changes state, I get that pushed into the LLM Vision card as a timeline entry. It's not perfect, but it's cool, right? Like then you can see things like, okay, house was disarmed at 7:30 a.m. and then at 7:35 a.m. someone was at the front door. Um, I do agree. I would like additional timelines as well. Then I could split out, based on zones. What happened in the backyard, what happened in the front
Right.
yard, and even just those Alamo things. You could have like a timeline for other things around the house too, right? Like dishwasher was started at 7:30
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
Dishwasher finished at 8:30 p.m. That's a long dishwashing cycle, I know, but just stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I do think maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be LLM Vision, but a timeline card in general would be a great little addition. Maybe there's one out there on Hacks. Let me know. Feedback at homeassistant.fm.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to see. But I do like, a timeline of things. I know we've got the activity area in Home Assistant for that, but having it as a timeline card with specific actions that I can post into his automations, I think that would be much better. Um, so AMPC86 also mentioned that for AI, I have multiple endpoints to try and use as many free tokens between Gemini, Grok, and a fallback on
I
OpenAI
love it.
for $5 Canadian. I will say I still haven't exhausted my $5 OpenAI credit that I added. I also have got Perplexity. This is not a plug for them or anything. They're not sponsoring or anything, but they've got a promotion with PayPal at the moment where you can get 12 months of Perplexity Pro for free, which I believe gives you $5 a month of API credits. I haven't activated it yet. So using something like Open Router, you could potentially then use Perplexity's API with their $5 API credits.
Or if you want to self-host something like that, you can use Light LLM too,
Yeah,
which will
yeah,
make it into a open API, OpenAI API.
exactly. Yeah. Good shout out for Light LLM too. That's what I would do. And just on the garden, take photos of gardens with flowers, lawns, sent AI. I love this. I would love to know if how close the camera would have to be to our garden,
Right.
like to see how high the grass is between. Like if your camera is angling down, you may not be able to get the nice view of how actually high the grass is grown up. You can LLM Vision has a great memory capability. Um, so you can, I guess, you could take a photo of, here's a photo of my lawn with long grass. Here's a photo of my lawn after it's been mown. Compare the two. Do I need to
Where
mow the
am I?
lawns today? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do actually like the idea of that one. So I might. I have a similar automation to try and prompt me to mow the lawn. So I think 3 days before a weekend, so Thursday or Wednesday, Home Assistant will check the weather for the weekend and then decide which day, either the Saturday or Sunday in the afternoon, is going to be the better weather day. If it's going to be raining on those days, if it's not raining, it will then add a calendar event to our shared calendar to say, okay, mow the lawns on this day. And then there's a Home Assistant button that we can press to mark the lawns as mown, so that we don't get reminded for a couple of
Nice.
weeks. Hmm.
Well, I mean, if you use this, that'll automate that pressing of the button, right? So that you don't need to do that
Exactly,
anyways. So,
exactly. Or I just bite the bullet, get a
uh,
robot lawnmower, and I'll be able to go from there.
I know. It's I know it's something I want to. But on the initial point that this person made around giving its own icons, I mean I can customize the icons, but it's not per like notification group or anything like that. But what I do is I actually just use emojis. So
Oh, interesting.
for my doorbell, the first thing that happens on a header is a bell icon,
Yeah,
right? If my one of my doors is opened, it's the door open emoji. So it's a
yeah.
way to get around that
I
too.
should use emojis more in like notification titles.
Yeah,
That makes
and if
a
it's
lot
an
of
alert,
sense.
it's like the warning triangle,
Yeah, yep,
like a water leak is detected or something like that. And, so at least I
yeah.
know,
That's
oh,
good.
I need to look at that.
Yeah, that's an important one not to skip.
And I think that comes in as critical too for leaks.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Fish Tank Kush has said LLM Vision is a must add to Alama for local backbone, and then you don't have to pay any APIs. Also, the gate idea for it should work. I will test it out on my property. So, Fish Tank, I can confirm that I added. So I have a driveway gate at the front of my house. I didn't want to put a door window sensor on it because it's inside. Do you want to 3D print a case for a door window sensor? I do have a camera pointing out down the driveway, and so I just ask LLM Vision, is the gate open or closed? I would say it was about 60-40 accuracy when I first started.
Interesting.
It would take a photo and go, is the gate at the end of the driveway open or closed? Sometimes it would say the gate is closed, but when it's clearly been open, um, and vice versa. But as I mentioned, LLM Vision does have a memory feature. So I got two snapshots, one snapshot with the gate closed, one snapshot with the gate open. I then describe this is a picture of the driveway with the gate open. This is a picture of the driveway with the gate closed. and then in my action service call, I tell it to use the memory. So I assume LLM Vision will then send that all up to OpenAI and say, this is gate closed, gate open, and here's a live picture. What's the state? And that has improved the accuracy. It's still not 100%. I would not say it's 100%. I would say it's more like 90% accurate now, but there's been a big increase in the accuracy using the memory in LLM Vision. So I would encourage you to try and use the memory if you can.
There you go. Um, all right. Breaking changes. There are a few. Nothing that were significant. Couple of things that are interesting, but again, it's we're gonna skip it this week. Just again, nothing that we were like, whoa, this is you need to know that this is breaking.
Yeah.
But if anything's weird or just again, check it out in the release notes there.
And I think finally, well, a couple of one, I want to just give a shout out. There is a Hacks custom Lovelace card called Home Assistant Cards. It was a pretty cool repo. I can't remember where I found it. Might have been in Paulus's newsletter, which you haven't subscribed to. I suggest subscribing to. But
Mhm.
yeah, Home Assistant Cards looks fantastic. Bit of a shout out there. Go and get on them. And in some like smart home news, we'll talk about Philips Hue before with their motion sensors for the Zigbee bulbs. They've also announced a partnership with Sonos. So Sonos and IKEA had a partnership where Sonos was creating speakers, and then IKEA would put them in furniture and sell them. That partnership has ended, but now it looks like Philips Hue have now got a Sonos partnership, and so you will soon be able to control your Philips Hue lights with a Sonos voice-enabled smart speaker using the Sonos voice assistant, which is fantastic. I like to see other uh, players coming in. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what else the Sonos voice assistant can control at this point apart from music. I've got it on one speaker, and yeah, I think it barely plays music well. Um, so yeah, cool that Philips Hue and Sonos have got this partnership. I'd like to see where that goes. Is it going to go down the IKEA sort of path where maybe we're going to get um, Sonos speakers with Philips Hue lights in them? Are we going to
Right.
vice
Or
versa? We're
a
going to get
bridge integrated into the speaker or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Be cool.
Um, so yeah, something else happening in the ecosystem there, which I thought was
Nice.
noteworthy.
That is
I think that's
cool.
it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.